Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report, with some must-see rumors on Ashton Jeanty, Jack Bech, and Dont'e Thornton Jr. Now, I know that this is the offseason, and I imagine anybody that's watching the show, I mean this, you got to be a diehard Raiders fan to continue to stay up to date on everything going on around the silver and black, even in the month of May. But I mean this, if you're watching this for the very first time, if you love the silver and black, make sure you click that subscribe button. We're going to keep you up to date going on the entire offseason. Let's first start this, though, with Ashton Jeanty. And recently, Jeanty was in an interview with actually a former Chat Sports employee. When I first started working here back in 2017, Jordan Giorgio was one of the people that I had the opportunity to work with for over a year. She's now one of the top people over at CBS, and she had the opportunity to sit down with the Raiders' number one round pick, and he said that he expects to rush for 1,500 rushing yards, and he also expects to get 10 to 20 touchdowns. Now, here's the thing. I know that Jeanty is going to set the bar high. Quite frankly, I expect Jeanty to set the bar high. If you're going to sit down in an interview and you're going to give me numbers like, I expect to rush for 1,000 yards, I hope that I get 5 touchdowns, I'm going to sit back and go, that's not the mentality that I want from somebody that we drafted number 6 overall. I know that Jeanty is the favorite to win Rookie of the Year, but the fact that Jeanty is setting that bar really high does make me wonder, is he already being told by Chip Kelly, Pete Carroll, and John Spytek that this is going to be the output that we're getting? Because to me, I expect Jeanty to be in the competition of this list right here. I want him to be up there with the most rushing yards by a rookie in NFL history, and I get it. Getting up to the 1,500 number, it's not going to be easy. Getting to the 1,600 number, it's not going to be easy. But then again, they don't make running backs that look the way that Ashton Jeanty does. And if he's going to go out there and say 1,500 plus, 10 to 20 rushing touchdowns, that is a great goal to set. And I think with the offense that this Las Vegas Raiders team is going to have, Jeanty is going to get opportunities. And there's going to be a lot of opportunities to be had just based on the style of offense that I believe that you are going to see from Chip Kelly and that Pete Carroll is really going to want to get out there and get implemented. But let's also say this. It shouldn't shock you that the bar has been set so high because Jeanty is the favorite to win the Offensive Rookie of the Year, which I'm not going to say that I'm shocked by, but also we don't really see, I think, running backs winning this award all too often. A lot of times MVP, Rookie of the Years, they do end up going to the quarterbacks. So the fact that Jeanty's got better odds right now than somebody along the lines of Cam Ward, hell, even a lot of the hype around Travis Hunter. If Jeanty goes out and he puts up 1,500 with 10 rushing touchdowns, I would imagine he is going to win Rookie of the Year. But considering the fact the numbers that he put up at Boise last year throughout his entire career, if you're not setting the bar high for this guy, then I think personally you haven't watched him play very often. So if you do not know, we are actually going to be giving away an Ashton Jeanty jersey at the very end of the month, which, crazy enough, is going to be this Friday, May 30th. If you want a chance to win a jersey, $5 super chat when we are live. I'll be live on Thursday, and I will be live on Friday this week, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Pacific. But if you can't join us live, you can also send in a super thanks. If you don't know how to send in a super thanks, this is what it looks like on mobile. You click this button right here, then you can donate $5. Or if you are on your desktop, your laptop, you click that three little dots right there. It gives you this drop-down menu for super thanks. You click on that bad boy, and you're entered in for a chance to win. If you're like, you know what, Mitch, I just want an Ashton Jeanty jersey, you can also just go to chatsports.com/Jeanty, chatsports.com/Raiders jerseys. We got you hooked up, but I do want to be able to tell all of y'all, if you're not watching the show on Friday, I'm going to be disappointed because I want the winner to be there when we give the jersey away. Let's go to the next rumor coming up here on today's show, and it's going to be around Jack Bech. I had a few Raiders fans reach out to me and like, hey, man, I saw this article. Is there anything going on with Besh? Hopefully there's nothing going on. And I just want to be able to nip this one in the butt because I don't think that there's anything that's worth worrying about. But an article was released in the past 24 hours, and it was titled, Raiders appear to have a contract dispute with promising wide receiver. If you do not know, Besh is the only rookie from the Silver and Black who hasn't officially signed his contract yet. I want to make that very clear because Besh is still out there practicing, during OTAs, during rookie minicamp. He's not sitting out. He's given 110%. But when we hear, all right, this guy doesn't have a contract signed yet, is there an issue going? I understand that people get worried about it because I would get worried about it. But the reason why there is a holdup is because of the guaranteed money. Now, I want you to see this quote from Pro Football Talk's Michael David Smith because I think it literally tells you why Besh isn't signed, but I don't think it's a Besh problem. I think it's players that were drafted in the second round type of problem. So here we go. But only 2 of the 32 second-round picks have signed, likely because of the disputes between teams and agents about fully guaranteed contracts. Since then, no second-round picks have signed. That's likely because other teams don't want to follow the Browns and Texans lead and give fully guaranteed contracts to second-round picks. And agents are asking those teams, if other second-round picks are getting fully guaranteed contracts, why should my player take anything less? And I'll be real, I 100% agree with the logic that Besh and Besh's agent are probably going with, because if another second-round pick got a fully guaranteed contract, I'm going to sit back here and go, I want that exact same thing. And I'm not concerned about Besh, and that's another reason why I really wanted to kind of talk about this topic. He's doing the right things. He's at practice. The coaches are happy with him. Players are happy with him. Everybody is happy with Besh. And I wouldn't look at it as a Jack Bech issue and a Raiders issue. I would look at it as an overall NFL and an overall second-round pick issue. So let's talk about Genty. Let's talk about Besh, because I'll be real, these have been the top 2 rookies, and I don't really think it should surprise anybody out that these have been the top 2 rookies for Las Vegas. But since Genty threw out the number 10 to 20 touchdowns, let's put these 2 combined. How many combined touchdowns for Genty and for Besh this upcoming season? So far, this is the only question that I've asked. And I'll be honest, it's probably going to be the only question that I do ask on today's video. So while you're getting hit with a YouTube ad break, I want you to scroll on down, give me your answer. Mine coming up here in just a moment. The number that I'm going to sit up here and go with is 15. And the reason why I'm sitting up here going with 15 touchdowns is because I do expect Genty to get a minimum of 10. And then in my mind, Besh has got to be around that 4 to 5 touchdown number. So if this duo, this rookie duo, can combine for 15 touchdowns in year 1, I'd say that's pretty damn good, if you ask me. Coming up next, though, did you all see what Maxx Crosby had to say about Dont'e Thornton Jr.? Now, I know Max watches the show, and I know the guys from the Rush Pod watch the show often as well, and I appreciate that. The comp that I have been giving on this show for Dont'e Thornton Jr., Martavis Bryant. And I don't know if y'all saw what Mad Max had to say, but he was really, really hyping up the Raiders' 4th-round rookie. And he said, holy shit, this guy could be something serious. And he did. He compared him to Martavis Bryant. Now, some of y'all might remember Bryant for the, we'll call it off-the-field issues, but when he was on the field, dude was an alien. And in fact, he was nicknamed the Alien. I can also remember many, many years ago when I was an intern for the New York Jets, the one game that I had the opportunity to shoot some T-shirts out was the Jets up against the Pittsburgh Steelers. In that game, Bryant ended up catching, it was like an 80-yard touchdown, and when he ran to the end zone, I was in the end zone with those other interns, and I was literally face-to-face with Bryant. I actually used to have a picture on my phone because you could tell how tiny I was next to Bryant. But he was truly an alien, and I don't think people understand what Bryant honestly brings to the football field. And whatever Bryant brought to that Pittsburgh Steelers offense, it's exactly what you're hoping Dont'e Thornton Jr. brings to this silver and black offense. But here's what Crosby had to say on the Raiders rookie. Dont'e Thornton, the dude we drafted from Tennessee, the big receiver, 6'4", another freak. I think he might be 6'5". He reminds me of Martavis Bryant. He even looks like him. He's tall, skinny, wears number 10. He's got the grills in. He's got the dreads. And when you already hear of somebody like Max talking about him, it should fire you up. He also said the way that he runs, the way that he catches the ball, he reminds me of Martavis, and it's crazy because a kid like that hasn't hit his full potential yet. Seeing him on the field and realizing what he can be is, from a player perspective, is like, holy shit, this guy could be something serious. And I agree with Crosby that the upside on Thornton, it is sky high. And I mentioned some crazy stats on Dont'e, and I'm hoping that I get the opportunity to sit down and interview him here this offseason. But one of the things that I was looking at was his athletic ability, and he is one of the only players. Him, DK Metcalf, and Calvin Johnson are the only players at the NFL Combine to be 6'4" taller and also run a 4.35 40-yard dash. Like, that's the type of athlete that we're dealing with here. But you know what? Since Crosby threw out the Bryant comparison, I wanted to do the exact same from the NFL Combine. Height, weight, very, very similar. 40-time advantage, Dont'e Thornton Jr. 10-yard split time, which I do actually think is a very important stat to just show acceleration early on. Thornton gets the advantage there. Vertical, big advantage to Martavis Bryant. And then the broad jump. Again, all of this shows is explosive play. And then you look at the college stats. 37 games for Bryant. 47 games played for Thornton. Thornton had some time at Oregon. He had time at Tennessee. Clemson, for this time for Bryant, was playing elite football. But 61 to 65, what I really want to look at here is the average yards per catch and the yards per game. Both players were kind of used in a gimmicky way in college, and both players, had opportunities, or Bryant had opportunities to shine. I think he would have had a much better career if he didn't, get into trouble, we'll call it. And then you got a guy like Thornton. If he can just stretch the field, and if he can take the top off of a defense, that is what you are asking him to do. I don't love using the word decoy because that makes people think that the Raiders aren't going to use him. But every time Thornton steps onto the field, he's going to be a decoy, whether you want him to be one or not. And the number one thing that I'm hoping he does is he opens things up for Ashton Jeanty. Hopefully, Dont'e Thornton Jr. helps Ashton Jeanty reach that 20-touchdown number. So in conclusion, Genty's got high hopes for himself, and he should have high hopes for himself. Quite frankly, if he doesn't, then I don't know if he's the right guy that we should have drafted. But I think that he's the right guy that we drafted. Jack Bech contract, nothing to worry about. It'll iron itself out once some of these other deals for second-rounders end up getting done. And the Martavis Bryant has been my comp for Thornton Jr., and I am really happy that Maxx Crosby also sees it.